Welcome to the Shootin The Que podcast, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue, with tips, tricks, and an inside look with some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
All right, we are back for another episode of Shootin The Que, and today, of course, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Candace. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
And we are here with the one and only Miss Melzie Wilson, who is a extraordinary barbecue organizer, is what I like to say.
Well, I appreciate that, Heath.
So, for the people that don't know who you are, we've known you for probably, 20 years now?
At least.
Tell us who you are and kind of how you got into barbecue and got started organizing events in the first place.
Let's see. My career has been in supply chain logistics, international supply chain logistics. And I've done that since I left the Mississippi Delta. I landed a job in Atlanta, and I took the job that was closest to where I live. I was either going to be in accounting and construction or logistics, and it was 5 miles from my house. And when you get a Delta girl in Atlanta and without the GPS and all that we have today, it was the perfect match. And it just took off. So, and I was very pleased, and I've been blessed with the companies I worked through initially in my career, and had a lot of growth, both in knowledge as well as in management during that time. And then I worked my way around, went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then wanted to get closer to home. And there wasn't a lot of supply chain logistics companies in the Mississippi Delta, so I came to Memphis. And I've been in Memphis, oh my gosh, for close to 30 years or so. Yeah, around 30 years. And when I started in the business at Mallory Alexander, who I was with for almost 25 years, I met a person who was involved with Memphis in May with the ambassadors. And I'd been down before, and I really didn't know anybody, walking around. And I was so impressed by the teams, about everything that was going on. So this friend asked if me and some other friends would volunteer. And I got hooked. I was in Whole Hog, was my first area that I got my feet wet in, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I got hooked. I really did.
So you was a team ambassador first?
Yes.
So who was the teams? I got to ask that.
I had Barbecue Republic, and I had the guys with the red that do the strawberry shots. They're always on the river. They've been in the longest.
All the red and black stuff?
Yeah, they have red. They have a red.
The Voodoo?
Not Voodoo.
No.
Golly.
What am I thinking about? The Express?
Yeah.
Redneck Express, maybe?
Yeah. The Redneckers, yes. And they were a trip, let me tell you. So I got initiated and everything. It was great. And they they love the sport. So, and I call barbecue competition a sport.
It really is an almost unrecognizable sport. People don't believe the stamina it takes to do 48 hours of live fire cooking and barbecue and all that. It really is a lot more to it. I would love to see it progress more like NASCAR.
Yes, yes. And in some senses, it is, because it's sexy. Y'all remember way back 20 years ago, it was only a little sector here and there, and now we've got barbecue shows. We've got all friends doing podcasts, So it's really gotten the respect, but people don't realize, like you said, that time and that money that goes into this sport. It is. It's a lot.
And it has a point series. All sides has a point series, and you have a winner at the end of the year and all that. So it is kind of like some of the sports that you do, like golf or basketball or whatever, stat-wise. And so I do think that school, when you get out of school, you're always itching for, another trophy, I guess.
Right.
Better way to say it.
Right. And it's like we say, because I work with Melissa and the WJBL as well, and she likes to say not everybody can, sink a basket or run and make a touchdown, but everybody can take the time and work together either as an individual or as a team sport in cooking.
That's right. And it's a great skill to learn as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And cooking will always pay you in some sort of way.
Amen. And what I think I've had if I trace back all my friends, it comes back to barbecue in some sense. It really does.
So with you being a volunteer new to Memphis in May and all that in your younger days, doing all that, you kind of progressed and you've held a lot of jobs or a lot of, I would say appointed titles, you know what I mean? Volunteer work for sure.
A hard work, volunteer work. I commend anybody that volunteers because it is a great deal of work and it takes a great deal of knowledge. So respect to everybody that does it in any type of venue. But, you know, if you look at all the barbecue contests that are out there, it's all made up of volunteers for the most part. It's all volunteers.
So through the years, what all roles have you played at Memphis in May?
Okay, let's see. Chair of ambassadors. So I worked up, did chair of whole hog, then I was co-chair and then chair of ambassadors. Then I think I took a break for a bit, and then I came back. I was chair judging, I think, 1 or 2 different times, and then I was chair of the event, and then I took a break for a few years, and then I came back, and I did media for a number of years, and that was, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so now, well, I don't want to get to skipping around. I'm going to wait just a minute.
Oh, you love to skip around.
It's y'all show. You can do what you dang well please.
I love to dance around and ask questions off of questions. But
okay.
I'm not going to do that today. No. I'm not going to. So all that has led you into organizing other events as well. So when did you really get into organizing events?
It has just been word of mouth. Like I got involved with Hogs for the Cause because 2 of the founders were flying from Memphis to New Orleans, and my employee was sitting right in the middle. And they were talking about how much their event had grown. They couldn't handle it. They needed help. And finally, she pulls out her business cards. She writes my name and number. She goes, "Here, you know, call my boss. She does this in her spare time." And
that's how you got
12
started.
years later.
So that was my next question. So you have been organizing Hogs for a Cause 12 years, you say now, right?
Yeah, I think this was our 12th year. We were trying to figure it out, but I think this is the 12th year.
And that has turned into like a major fundraising event for pediatric brain cancer. And now they have a house they've built.
Not 1, but 2 houses. 2. It's called Hogs House. The first one was built in New Orleans, and the second one is in Baton Rouge, and they're breaking ground on another one in Mississippi. But they are continually... They're one of the leading philanthropic bodies that promote some type of research for brain cancer because the survival rate is not very high.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, it's one of those things where we've got to meet families through the years, and I'll try not to cry because it pulls at your heart. When you know that a child that's going to come to the team meeting and their parent or them are able to speak and say something, and that little child's not going to be here in 6 months. It just, it makes us all fight more. And I've never seen a more dedicated bunch of pitmasters and teams. I mean, they started literally the day after the awards. Some teams started their fundraising. That's how committed they are.
So what was the fundraising like this year? What was the total? Do you know?
The teams were at $4.3 million, but I don't think they've settled all the books for the event itself. So I'm hoping and praying that another 700,000 kicks in because our goal was 5 million for this year.
That is pretty cool. So how many teams has it progressed from over the years? Because it started out a really small event,
It did. It actually started out in Becker and Renee's backyard to raise funds for one of their friends' child. And it went from the backyard to a block party, and then there was one other venue, and then it went to City Park. And it was just too big at that time. And so that's when we kind of when I came in and sat with them, and I brought in the folks from the NBN and some other friends that I've volunteered with through the years. And it's been such a heartwarming experience. I mean, at like year 3, I was with them. We were going to blow it up. Let's just see how many teams. But we were looking at getting more teams, raise more money, get more involvement. And we didn't see those additional teams bring the heart to it. They were in there as another purpose. They would do the minimum and not have that heart that what the Hogs for the Cause teams really put into it. So what we did was we just said, okay, let's go with these, and somebody's got to prove that they have the love and the dedication everybody else has. But it's great, Lambert and John David and his son and Kendall and Anwar from Robinson. I mean, it was amazing, all the Memphis folks that are down there now.
I know. We really wanted to go, but our daughter's birthday was that Saturday.
Yeah.
So that was our kind of dilemma of that. And we were in the hospital the year before.
Maybe 1 year we'll make it.
Yeah. I wish I would. It's a great event.
I hope so. So, talking about New Orleans, though, you go to New Orleans a good bit. Right?
Yes, just a little bit.
And so I know this. You have been a diehard New Orleans Saints fan for years.
It's bad. Yeah.
So you rode the highs and the lows.
Oh, Lord, yes. To the point where you just don't even want to watch at times. But I was very fortunate. I got season tickets, first row, end zone, my first year. They had just added on to the stadium, and it was awesome. I had those for a number of years. And then year before last, they decided to redesign the stadium to be able to have the 2025 Super Bowl. They redesigned, and now I'm sitting in lower nosebleed. But it's still, the spirit's still there, the love's still there, and you really have to when you're sitting lower nosebleed, and we're not having the winning season there is. So
we were actually fortunate enough to go to who did the Saints play when we went back in?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember. It was in November.
They won the game though, but we went to a suite there at the stadium. We were invited for some people we do business with, and it was we had a grand time.
The energy in there is unreal. I mean, it is. It's unreal. Even people that I meet that come from opposing teams, they always say, we like to come here because y'all were so nice.
Well, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think you can probably find a better city when it comes to food and atmosphere to catch a cold
Lord
drink.
have
No
mercy.
matter where you're at, what patio, in Memphis, we have some good spots.
We do.
We really do.
I'm very proud.
But it's not New Orleans.
No, it's not.
I mean, by any corner you take, any turn you take, you can go behind a fence, a broke down wood door, and you find some of the best food you've ever seen in your life in New Orleans.
That's what I say. Don't ever underestimate going in any dive place and eating. Wow.
Back to the football. I just feel like I guess it's just different, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but coming from Memphis, I feel like it's always been hard for Memphis to fully support any athletics all the way.
Right.
So going to New Orleans and seeing all of the local people that just, on any given Sunday or whatever day, they just make it a point to come to all the games.
Right.
I just,
no matter what.
Being from here, that's not something you get to witness a lot. And I know in other larger cities that's common, but unfortunately.
Boston's that way. I went to a Red Sox game, and I'm here to tell you, they bring it out.
Right. I've been that was my goal at one time, to go to different baseball stadiums when I was in the area. And it's like some of those cities jump back. Yeah.
So have you been to that one?
No, I haven't been to Boston. I've been to both of the ones in Chicago. I've been to L.A. I've been to, of course, Atlanta. In fact, I'm taking my nieces and their families. We're doing the Braves July 4th weekend.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'll be over there next week.
Cool.
In Atlanta for business meetings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm always going somewhere. No, I've been wanting to go to one, but I can't.
We've talked about
I can't make it work in
I
between
haven't been
travel.
to the new stadium, so I'm looking forward to that.
Actually, Traeger just, I seen where they were, and they cut some kind of deal with the Braves now, and they have some kind of sponsorship deal. I don't really know the inner workings of it. I seen some of it on social media. But yeah, they're doing something, with the Louisville Slugger bats and maple pellets now and all that, and they're getting into the baseball arena.
I followed Traeger. I may have missed that.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Cool.
Well, talking about barbecue, you've done all that at Memphis in May, and in amongst all that, the Memphis BBQ Network, kind of broke off from Memphis in May. So were you a part of that then when they broke off, or was that after?
I was training to be a rep with MIM when that
transition
occurred.
happened.
Right. I'm not considered one of the founding members, but I did
Join right then.
And was a rep for a number of years. But it was just so much to try to juggle being a rep and, because, you don't get paid. It really costs you money to be a rep, which is fine because we all want the best for the sport. And I'll keep saying it. We want to make sure the integrity of that sport is there, that you trust us, we'll do a dang good job, and that, when you get your scores and everything, that it was presented in the right way. So I did that for a number of years, and like I said, it was just too much, and taking vacation, and then different, because I went from Mallory, then I went to FedEx.
Well, they headhunted you. I kind of remember that when you transitioned over to them.
Yeah. So I was at FedEx for almost 4 years. Had a blast, and then I had an opportunity to go to Donovan, and then I had an opportunity to be on my own. It's one of those things. It's like I told somebody, I said, I never prayed that much, and just said, God, I don't know what to do. You give me a sign, and I literally got a sign and started my business the next day.
It probably feels a little better waking up every day, don't it?
It does. It does. And it's nice to, have people that work for you and they go, I need to take my mom or my father, like today. She said, I'll be out of pocket for about 3 hours. I need to take my mother-in-law to the doctor. I said, okay, do that and come back. Because I always think, and, you look back about what you sacrificed in your career. Family, going to school, working as well.
Right.
I mean, you have the gamut, and then you look, well, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. And that's what I want to provide anybody that works for me, to put your family first, that's key. That's right. Key. I think you do a better job.
I do too. I think when you have happier employees, they do a better job for you.
Yeah. Are y'all happier?
I try to be sometimes.
Sometimes.
So I always ask everybody this involved in barbecue. What's your favorite contest you've done so far, been to? I know you've not
okay,
come to cook
I won't
side,
say hogs. I won't say hogs.
On the MBN circuit.
17th Street.
Okay.
You know what?
We're in agreement with that.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorites.
I love me some Mr. Mike Mills. I mean, I call him and Mr. Pat Burke. We're all here today, in my opinion, because of them.
I agree
with that.
Big time. And there is no other paying back to the community from for the judges, for the public, and especially for the teams, like what Mr. Mike and Amy does and their whole team.
I agree. The fish fry, the team baskets, the charcoal, the beer, the liquor, the whhole pies, the apples, the jams, the jellies, the fresh baked cookies. It's the goodie baskets were out of control.
Literally,
two people to carry your goodie basket.
Bushel basket.
Yeah.
It was, and still is, and unfortunately, I couldn't cook it last year and cook it this year because of work stuff.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to miss that because that was my first grand championship by my, as my own team. That was my first grand championship.
I may have that picture. I was going through my old pictures, looking at, just thinking about Mr. Mike and everything, and I think it was a picture of y'all with Mr. Mike.
I've got several pictures with him and Pat. It's I'm like you. Nobody would be really cooking this Memphis barbecue if it weren't for them and the stuff that they done and dragging the shows like they did.
Yeah.
And
Apple City Barbecue
and doing
was,
things
was
like
hot.
they did and built it up and just incredible experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
And that's another reason why I love is that generational respect and love, And I've seen Mr. Mike walk around and look at the blind boxes and go, whose is that? And he said, can you give me that name? I want to go talk to them. They have a great product, but they should have done this and this. And he took that time to do that.
He did.
And he didn't have to, except, That's awful. That's awful in appearance. But he would go that extra step.
Yeah, him and Pat have never seemed to amaze me. Just at the advice and how easy they have always been able to talk to about that. And a lot of times now it's so hard to approach people, and that's why I try to become as approachable as I could with people. I don't have any secrets of barbecue. Right. People still has to cook it. So you can give them the recipes, you can do all this, but they still have to cook and execute at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And it's anybody's given game any given day. Yeah, I've been really consistent before on the circuit. And when you cook that much, you should be consistent. You should be. And so for us now, it's just about going out and having fun. But that's the one thing Mike and Pat really preached is, you know, you got to be consistent and you got to want to do it.
Right.
And it's barbecue can lead you down some really interesting roads if you do that.
Yeah.
Do you still like to actually eat barbecue?
You know, everybody. It's funny. You know, when traveling for business, everybody goes, "Oh, I could need to take you to this restaurant, barbecue restaurant," and I'm sorry, I get to eat the best of the best at these contests, and you know, that's what's hard about going to a restaurant. You know, is making that curve because nobody's babied a slab of ribs like y'all have,
or a whole hog,
or a whole
shoulder. It's not the same.
I know.
That one or two bites of that competition barbecue versus somebody making you a sandwich at a restaurant. Nothing wrong with that sandwich,
right?
But it's not the same,
right?
It's not the same.
And exactly, you know, you can't get bacon or jowl off a whole hog everywhere. So I tell people, we've got some PR people working with us at SmokeSlam, and I'm like going, y'all are coming with me. I'm going to take you to a barbecue team, and you're going to eat jowl and bacon. And they're going, really? And I'm like, no. I mean, you have never tasted anything this good before.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
It is.
A lot of people, especially jowl meat, people's like,
yeah.
Yeah, when you get behind it and you hand it to them, they don't know what they're eating. You're like, oh, this is incredible. This melts like butter in your mouth.
I did watch somebody, and I had not heard it, B&O.
Eating the eyeballs?
Oh, that's gross.
Joey's been doing that probably 10 years.
I never knew that until I saw that posting. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, I've done the whole goldfish thing before back in the day, swallowed a live goldfish.
You were probably drinking beer at the time.
Probably, allegedly. I don't, allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Well, talking about barbecue restaurants, I'm sure you've ate at a few. And leaving out our ones around here, what has any stood out to you in any other cities? Texas, the Carolinas, you lived in Charlotte one time.
Yeah.
Any of the Tennessee, anywhere up, not in our area. Because one of the best around here we know is Melissa's Place.
Right.
It's hard to beat it. It's very consistent.
Yep.
And when there's a few other holes in Memphis, Cozy Corner, Payne's iconic places, right? But is there anywhere else out of state?
You talk about different areas like interstate. I like interstate a lot, but I like interstate on Second better than interstate on State Line Road. Is that not weird?
Oh, no. Yeah, it's like Chris Lee's restaurant, Big Bob Gibson's. You got to go to the main one in Decatur, not the one over here on whatever street that is. Yeah. I mean, it's different. Yeah. It was built different. The pits are different. Nothing, not saying the food's not good, but I totally get what you're saying on that aspect.
Yeah. Totally. I guess I'm really particular, and normally when I travel, for some reason, my travel really goes to coastal cities for some reason. So if I get to a coastal area,
well, port stuff probably.
I'm going seafood. I'm going seafood. I gotta have in a coastal area. So, but I'll be honest with you, I do get taken at times, and then we get done. I'm like, well, we just want to make sure. We didn't think it was good either, but we wanted your opinion. Really?
Well, I got to ask this. What's your favorite seafood restaurant then?
Oh, my gosh. So there's several. So I love the one in Savannah, where the elite go.
I've never been to Savannah, believe
me. Oh, okay. So there's a place. It's out of town. I know how to drive there, but their slogan is where the elite eat in their bare feet. And literally, you get the boiled seafood, you sit at a round table, and the garbage can's in the middle, inside the table, and you eat and crack crabs and all that kind of stuff.
Throw it in.
And then, as far as in New Orleans, the original Drago's in Metairie, as far as seafood and Cajun cooking, is like my favorite. there.
I've got to ask about the one. Have you been to Restaurant Revolution?
Oh, in New
No,
Orleans.
I have not.
Oh, it's so good.
I saw
I'm
y'all
surprised you haven't
post.
been there.
Yeah, I saw y'all post there. Did y'all go? I know y'all were staying at the Four Seasons. Did y'all go downstairs and eat at Miss Rivers?
Yes,
It was
we
good.
did eat there.
It was good, but it was not Restaurant Revolution.
No. Okay.
That place is like,
The bomb.
I will put it there.
And I don't know if we just had a good night or what, but Malcolm and Rochelle were the ones that told us you got to go to this place. So we usually take their recommendations.
Right.
And it was great. So
It was more than great.
You want to hear a funny story right quick? So at Hogs for the Cause, we have celebrities that come in at times. And they were like, okay, we have a celebrity coming in representing Blue Plate, and we need you to make sure you keep really good care of them, roll out the red carpet. So I'm, walking around, and I'm like, when are they going to be here? So I walk out of the tent, I come back in, I see Malcolm and Rochelle sitting there talking to Raleigh. So I go, hey, what y'all doing? Hugging out. I said, what are y'all doing? I said, you're not cooking. I said, but I didn't see you on the judges list.
they were the celebrities.
They were the celebrities. It's weird. It's weird that y'all were all known as celebrities now.
I wear Hanes and Levi's. There ain't nothing special about me. I tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing special about
Yeah.
me. Well, all this leads us into you are now the official barbecue organizer of this new SmokeSlam event here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, sir. Coming up really quick.
Really quick.
Really quick.
So what can you tell us about SmokeSlam, kind of how it was started and formed, and kind of give us a rundown on it? Because besides what you really see in the news, I don't know much, and I'm not going to speculate on anything.
Yeah. Well, we know that there were some issues with the park, and I don't want to get into all that politics. I wasn't involved with it or whatever, but the city wanted to make sure that there were some events downtown, and reached out because Memphis Presents through Forward Momentum does a good bit of stuff in the Memphis area with concerts.
Well, they just got done with a huge concert series right before that, right?
Right,
Was it in April maybe or March?
They're always doing. There's always they do stuff with the Shell. I know they were in. There was a big thing at the Shell.
So they do all those concerts, the Shell series, and all. Oh, I didn't realize all that.
Yeah, so they're involved in a lot of different stuff, and they have events in previously in Savannah as well as in the Carolinas. So they're always out and about. And then Mike Smith is the tour manager for Widespread Panic. So he's one of our producers
Cool.
of operations.
So how many teams did y'all wind up with at SmokeSlam?
So we had, like with any, we were, in all honesty, I didn't know what was going to happen. So I told Memphis that, if we have 35 teams, I'll be super happy. It far surpassed that. And so when it all got down to it, we found spaces and have 59 teams competing. For different reasons, we're now down to 57 teams. And 30 of those teams are cooking in all three categories.
See, that's what's pretty interesting to me, because at Memphis in May, you can only cook one category.
Right.
And so being able to cook all three, that's pretty cool in my opinion. I mean,
Cha-ching,
we're
cha-ching.
probably one of the few that swept contests, you know what I mean? Back in the day, and that won some good money, but that contest is really paying a lot of money. I mean, I hate that we're not cooking it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as a business person, you can understand why I'm not cooking it this year.
Correct. And all the pitmasters that I've talked to have been very nice and said if you'd just done it another weekend, we'd be there. But, everybody has their commitments, and everybody's going to land where they want to be. And that's awesome to have that choice and bring two significant events in Memphis. We need all the positive we can get here in Memphis.
We need all the positive we can get. So
let's back up to where, as we digress and go on a different path. But SmokeSlam came about as a result of that engagement. Can you do something? So they were going to replace the Music Fest, which is River Beat, which is this weekend. And then they came back a little while later and said, hey, can you do another event like a barbecue or something, at another time, and we'll look at that possibility. So they started talking to pitmasters here in Memphis as well as in other areas. We know Kerry Bringle got involved very early on. And then my name popped up because they needed somebody. All these guys know their festivals, and I'm learning the festival lingo very quickly because it's a different type speak. But one thing that we really wanted to do was have that barbecue person in. And with my background, it was like the most varied person they could get. So here I am. We talked to them. I really liked when we were talking, what Milton and Jeff and Mike and everybody really had to say. They wanted to put good spotlight in Memphis. They wanted to bring in an element somehow, whether it was through the WJBL or set up some other type of event to bring young people and put some positive with our young people. But most importantly, bring in some nonprofit, which we killed two birds with one stone, I guess you could say, with WJBL and having that event there at the same time. But we're also looking at the pitmasters have really done well in knowing that there's so much excess food, finding ways to donate it to local food banks. So we're on a mission of that as well.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Through the live fire as well as through the competition teams to give it to those that are less fortunate. And we're very excited about it. So that really tugged at my heart, really drew at what I really see in the sport. And then one other thing that they really said was, we want a festival. We don't want to duplicate what anybody else is doing. We want a full rounded festival where people can come, whether you know a team, whether you like music, or whether you just want to hang out on the river, whatever the case may be. We want it affordable, family friendly, and well rounded. And it just started popping. And it's like, I was telling somebody the other day, it's like, we started off with a little bit and it's just growing.
So
ginormously.
how big can you grow the event there? That's I guess the only real question I have. I love the fact that another barbecue's coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
Now I hate that it's the same weekend because I would like to cook both, being a little selfish. But how do you grow that event? If it's at 59 teams now, and it's almost I would say max capacity at the park.
Yeah.
How do you really grow on that to more teams and all that, and add to that?
Well, we've been talking about, it's laid out. We operations worked with MRPP as well as with they hired a environmental project specialist to come in and work with us in order to make sure we were very cognizant of the terrain, the underground water systems, everything.
I'd like to apply for that job.
Yeah.
Just a side joke.
I mean, all the stuff they talk about when we were doing the walkthroughs on the park went over my head. But we're actually in that north sector where the rib teams normally are, and then the middle lawn that's usually split with shoulder and hog. There's going to be a road. A man-made road track that can take the weight and distribute it so we're not tearing up the terrain and the grass and things like that. So we're thinking that when everything's in there and we walk around, we're going to see some opportunities to add some. But it will never be the size that we grew up in of 200-something teams.
I really wish we could get back to that 240-something teams.
We'd have to find a field somewhere.
Because that's where Memphis in May was at. What year was that?
Oh my God! There was one year I want to say we had 256 teams for
2008, 9, maybe somewhere up
probably
in there.
so.
I want to say. I think.
Yeah.
I just know it was over 200 then. I mean, I was in the beer business. I can remember those.
Yeah.
Those good sales numbers.
I forget, yeah, you were. But it won't do. We will never be that just because of the layout. And also to have a true festival. So we really want to dedicate space to have music, to have this live fire extravaganza it's twice the size we anticipated right now. I mean, it is unreal. It's unreal.
That's pretty cool. How many teams is going to be on the road versus the park?
So it's kind of, everybody has asked that question. So when we first started, it's like, oh, everybody's going to have to be on the asphalt. No. But it was kind of funny when the applications came in. I had about 40 on the river, 40 wanted asphalt, and about 20% said they didn't care. So we got all the people on the asphalt that wanted it, that were in a smaller booth area, but to meet all the fire and all those codes, the bigger spots had to go on the grass. So I think we made it. It's not as many teams on the river as we would like, but time will tell and how we can change up the size of the booths and look at it. And I think it's one of those boots on the ground. Go, we could have done something right here. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, well, as you know, a lot of things looks good on paper.
Yes.
But when you're on the ground looking at it, it's a lot different. And I think that's been a lot of the problems of past events that I've seen is not really maximizing the space that you have.
Right.
And we even seen that, and I know that I'm not going to speculate on this and throw out. I know Memphis May's hands was tied on when they went to the Liberty Bowl the first time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it was such a quick transition from downtown to the Liberty Bowl. I was in the beer business then and running
when it flooded.
Yeah, when it flooded.
Oh yeah,
it was all like a 2-week time period to get it changed over, and I get it.
I was co-chair of barbecue then, and let me tell you, it was like all of us on the. I mean, literally, I just told my boss, I was like, I got to take some time off, and literally pulled it off within a week.
Yeah, that's just incredible, wild. I do think that space over is pretty cool. I hope they keep building and developing around there. We'll see what happens.
Well, it's like some of them said, it's like, give me asphalt any day of the week because it's a lot easier to deal with.
Well, for me,
but it hurts your back more if you stand on it all day.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
well, that heel hurts going up it now.
Yeah.
I don't think do you know anybody that likes that heel at Memphis in May?
None.
When
whatsoever.
you get ready to go at the end of the night or the end of the day,
you begging somebody to pick you up on a golf cart.
$20 to $40 comes out of a lot of pockets.
Yes,
then.
it does.
Yeah. And really and truly, I never understood why no one ever was allowed to start a shuttle service from the bottom of the hill to the top on golf carts and charge $10 a ride. Memphis May has missed out by not putting a rider in and doing that. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there for SmokeSlam.
Well,
might capitalize on that.
It's under consideration.
I mean, you see little kids, little train, little things from behind. And I'm not saying that's the answer, but something like that.
Believe me, it's been discussed.
We
shall see what happens.
Falling out of the train.
Hell, I might withdraw from Memphis May just to come run that operation. The man could make more money.
Really.
Giving train rides.
Give me tips.
Well, have y'all had any judging problems since there's 2 events in Memphis going on at the same time?
It's really surprising. And in fact, of course, got hit up a lot, went down to Springfest, went by and saw y'all, and walking around, and some are like going, oh, y'all, to the MBN, y'all just getting so many new judges and stuff like that. Well, it's normal. It's just obvious because all of them are falling in a quicker space, but Suzanne said that probably 70 to 80% are seasoned judges, and then the rest will be
so
judges.
For that qualification for SmokeSlam, they just need to be an MBN judge. Unlike unlike with Memphis in May, you have to take their class.
Yeah, right.
But in this case, as long as they're MBN certified.
And because, everybody knows who teaches the MIM class and has a ton of respect for him, it's easy for an MIM to become an MBN.
Yes, for sure.
Everybody has a ton of respect, of course.
Well, we would all hope one of these days that all that would get kind of crossed over and intermarried because it's the same thing, let's face it. And I think it's just going to take somebody raising their hand and going, hey, guys, we need to sit down at a table and, do this. Yeah. And maybe that'll happen one of these days.
Yeah. And then let's don't forget about the World Food Championships. Yep. They've really brought a lot to the table with taking over our ancillaries. And then we also have golden tickets, not only for those 7 ancillaries, but also for hog, pulled pork, and rib. So that's cool.
So do you think, I know that you said that not this event, I don't know how to word it, but like this company has done events in other cities. Do you foresee that they'll do barbecues in any other cities? Maybe, possibly.
I'm grinning. I'm grinning. I'm grinning.
That was a big question for me, because if they put on huge music festivals everywhere else, then it makes sense.
I mean, you could do so many more barbecue events other places. I mean,
let's just say there's been interest from other areas of the country to duplicate this type of event.
Gotcha.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I know. I'm telling you.
And this is just speculation. I'm just asking. I know this is speculation. Just from whatever talks there have been, I'm not asking areas, but do you foresee that would be an MBN event still? Or do you think that would take a different route?
I don't know.
Don't really know
we want to, of
part
course,
of it.
support the MBN because they have, of course, it's great, but they've been super supportive of us. They've taken a lot of heat, that personal attacks and organization attacks. Yeah. I've just been referred to as that organizer. That's nobody's called me out by name. I just get called that organizer, which is fine.
Well, I mean, I got phone calls about it asking my opinion, and I'm gonna be honest, my opinion don't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't. And I got asked a lot of questions, and I even got some phone calls and people come seen me and sat down in my office and asked my thoughts about the MBN organizing it. And it's true. If they didn't organize it, who else?
Somebody else would.
Somebody else from an outside city is going to come in here and organize it. And do you really want that?
Yeah, it's like I love KCBS. In fact, I hugged the Gages this past weekend. I may just go up there to 17th Street just to hang out with them because the Wells. I mean, Carolyn, Utmost.
And barbecue's barbecue to me.
The GBA. I like everybody. Yeah. Everybody brings that certain element that if it fits your style, it's good to go. You'll have a good time. Well,
all these cooks can cross over. Yeah. And the one thing that of course, I don't cook nothing anymore, but like maybe South Haven every year, right? And then I go to Memphis May. We just don't have the time. Mm-hmm. But I did really like that the rule change really happened in MBN where they could cook pork collars.
Yes.
And that really don't matter.
But that's getting some flack from just the feedback I'm getting,
Like, to me, if you can win a blind box and you can do it, whether it's 1 or 1, what does it matter?
Exactly.
Whichever one. Now, when it gets to finals, if you still don't have a shoulder or a butt to use, that's your own fault. Yeah. I don't think that collar's going to take it in the end. Not saying you can't get there. So I don't understand why somebody be complaining about it. But I just look at it as in having so many cooks cross over from other sanctioning bodies. Right. So you want the rules to intertwine and be the same thing for timelines and whatever.
Right. And it really helps those KCBS teams that when there's a joint MBN and KCBS, it allows them to participate in both. And you can tell, I mean, with going from blind for prelims and then finals or on site, I mean, that's really driven participation. And with going to the collar and with KCBS, that's, driven a lot. And I think their contests are up to almost 40, close to 40 contests. For
MBN? Really?
I think they were telling me it's 30-something. Oh,
wow. Well, that's really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know everybody's not always going to be happy about rule changes or whatever, but.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So this contest is kind of the exception to the rule.
Yes, it is.
Because as most of us know, MBN used to be all prelim on-site judging. And so they did away with that and it went blind. And now it has come back for this contest.
Right. And it was one thing that we really wanted to see. So they were able to make it work with the different dynamic of the 3 on site. And then they changed to 4 judges at the blind table. So it all weighed out. So because I was very serious along with Ford Momentum and Metfo that we have a sanctioned event. That was one of our goals. And so they pulled it off, and I'm very pleased with that,
So with the on-site, does the garnish come back like it used to
be? No. Some people aren't happy about that.
That was a big to-do.
Yeah.
I like it as simple.
Yeah.
Was it
It's
really
all
nice?
about the meat.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I was just asking for
Yeah.
that. Wondering.
Maggie said the best thing they said, can you have full on your grill? And she said, yes, you can have full on the grill because you use it in the cooking process. But if it looks like a duck, it can't be on the grill. Yeah.
That's right. Well, people will take aluminum foil and fold it up and do artsy stuff out of it, make a swan and all this kind of stuff, and get wad up balls of it and place around. I mean, whatever, and it's senseless.
Yeah. So it's all disposable. I'm learning a lot. So it's all disposable except for anything that the judge will touch. So if you want to have grandma's silver tray and bring out the product, it can do it. If you want to garnish and have flowers and everything on the table and the judge is not going to touch it, you can do it. Just anything that judge touches has to be.
So they still have to use that placemat supplied by NBN to serve, to place that meat on. For
but if they want to put a pretty
underneath
that is thrown away, you can.
So how many teams did you say was cooking all three?
30. We have 30.
30 out of the 58.
57. 57 now. Yeah.
So,
and they're all from 11 states. So we have teams as far away as Arizona and Wisconsin.
So no international, though.
No international. Mm-mm.
And so I know there's several like super teams been put together by some KCBS guys. There's 3 or 4 head cooks that's come together, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be some real competition there. It will be.
Yeah. And there's some teams there that
can't leave out those NBN teams that cook every week now.
No, and that's what's so great. I was talking to one of the teams this past weekend, and they've never had the opportunity to cook in Memphis, but we wanted to make sure that it was affordable. So Mike Smith did a great job in figuring out our cost and trying to include portalets and a certain degree of your electricity to make sure we made it as affordable as possible. And I'm very proud because, like you say, you may not have cooked in an event in Memphis before, but doesn't disqualify the fact that you are a great pitmaster. So I'm very pleased with who we got in the caliber. We've got Poker Porkers. Team of the year for 23. They're killing it all the time.
That's right. They one of Heath Riles teams.
Yes. Yeah.
Lance and the gang do very good.
Yes.
Just won Springfest. Right?
Yeah, they just won Springfest again. And they were Hog team of the year and pork team maybe the year before that, or rib team.
I think so.
They've been coming along. He's been cooking every year. He had a little sick spell there for a moment and got better, but he's back now, and they done found their groove. And he told me before Ward started, he said that shoulder is one of the top, like what you used to cook. He said I said, was it there today? He said it was there today. It showed out. And he said it's going to be hard to beat. And sure enough, that's
what did it.
Couldn't beat it.
Yeah, I walked in just as the finals judges were leaving in their booth, and they were talking about it. I just picked out on some ribs and, in the judges' tent, so I wasn't.
You have your finals judges picked for SmokeSlam, or you wait until closer to time to pick that?
We've been talking. So we've got a group text, and we go back and forth with different ones. I'm all about the male and female and different areas of the country. So we're batting back some ideas and stuff. But one of them, I hope, does it. That I can't say.
Well, no, of course not. I know that.
Yeah. But very seasoned, very respected judges that we're all considering.
Well, I guess you pretty much answered a lot of the questions about SmokeSlam I've had.
Because I can talk just a little bit.
Yeah, well, you can. Well, you answered, do you think you've ever grown any bigger, like it was? And I don't think it'll hold any more in the park, like you said. I mean, y'all are probably at about max capacity. I mean, you could probably squeeze 75 in there if it got down to it. But it would be hard to do that.
It would be
plus,
very hard. Yeah, it'd be very hard.
And I get that because we all know that it was a very much cluster 2023 down there.
Yeah. It's like I've been asked, what's your budget for damage? It's so much pre-operational time has gone in. I mean, even like nobody's going to be able to drive on the grass. The ops team will take over and position your rig and in your spot.
Well, if you didn't know that, they done that last year during load in. There were 8 of us that loaded in on a Friday last year, and it took 9 hours to load 8 people in with forks.
Really?
Yeah, and that was on the Friday before official load in of Memphis in May on Saturday.
Whoa.
So I know that for a fact, and the sun was shining.
The sun was shining.
I was the second team in the park that day, and it took them almost 2 hours to park my one trailer.
Wow.
And I had 2. It's not as easy as a task that people think it is. The street would be a lot easier, but going into the park right there parking, it'll be a minute, but it won't be bad because I'm sure y'all have done your due diligence of how they're going to be coming in.
Right.
To be stacked. And I think that was a hard thing with Memphis in May.
Yeah. And then we got those turf-sensitive forklifts that, that are...
So like soft touch or whatever.
Yeah.
Keep from ground sinking. Well, as far as SmokeSlam goes, I hope it goes off without a hiccup, because at the end of the day, it's about the teams and them getting a fair handshake and all that. And I do hate that we're not able to cook that event because it's on the same weekend as Memphis in May. And so maybe who knows what's going to happen. Do you think there will be any changes to keep that on the same weekend if Memphis in May continues?
All I know is we have a 10-year lease.
For that weekend?
No, for the month. Is what I haven't seen the agreement, but I do know we have a 10-year commitment from the city.
Do you think it'll grow more than just the music festival and then the barbecue festival? Because, let's be honest, Memphis in May, a long time ago, it was the whole month. They had, we used to have the symphony and all of that kind of, and I'm not saying that it would be exactly that.
Right. Let us get through this. I'm
before you add another weekend there.
It's kind of funny because I work with 2 of the producers and one of my bosses. I know I can catch them from 5 to 7 a.m. I know that's their spot to be checking text and email. And then I have another producer that I work with that he's a night guy. So I know I can catch him like starting at 5 o'clock. I can get his attention. So, it's we're learning everybody really well. And it's like I was saying, so-and-so called and they're interested. And, this is interesting because the live fire, we've got B&B Charcoal as well as MBBQA have partnered together. I think the way we're doing it as B&B Charcoal Live Fire Extravaganza presented by MBBQA is going to be killer. Literally, they will be cooking whole. You'll see at least.
Well, I know Al Fagoni is coming over to do some stuff with y'all and some other pitmasters.
Yes.
So that would be an event that the public can actually taste from for once.
Yeah, we'll be serving. We'll have the 2 live fires. So, do you know Derek Wolf? Open fire. So
there, you can't name any people.
Okay, that's what I figured. So Derek's going to be heading up a team.
He executes well.
Yes. And then Al Fragoni's going to be heading up a team. Then we got Thyra Matthews. He's going to come and he's going to be doing ribs. He said, I just want to cook ribs for everybody. So he's cooking ribs. And then I talked to Logan last week. And Logan's coming in. He was the runner-up on Barbecue Showdown. Love the 2 of them together. They are true bros. And he's going to come in and he's going to go the vegetarian route because if you're vegetarian, you come to an event like this, you have nothing to eat. So we're actually going to be offering black bean burger. I know there's people out there like that.
I was just going to say, do not sign up to judge an event if you're a vegetarian because that has happened to us.
Yes.
Do you remember that year?
Yes.
Let's just
we laugh
nothing
about that
wrong
every
with
time.
being a vegetarian, but do not sign up to judge a meat
pork
contest.
Exactly.
No, I think that's great that they're going to have vegetarian options. Though.
Yeah. So that'll be, samples served to the public. Then we got a VIP, and then we got a pitmaster pass that's more interactive with the teams. So it's going to be a lot for. Oh, and then my favorite part, fireworks every night.
Oh, that'll be
cool. 10:20.
I'm gonna be in a bed asleep every night.
I know, I will be too. That's past my
everybody
bedtime.
laughs, but nowadays, I leave by 6 really at the latest. I don't stay past 6 p.m. There's nothing any good there.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah. And I did. I was laughing. I think it was when MIM was at the park the previous time, and I was walking back, and I thought I was walking back early, and y'all's team was like, it was lights out, dark, and everything. I was going, times have changed. It's right if you had the baby.
I was about to say that was the year she was born in April.
Yeah.
And then that was in May. So she was very young.
Times have changed for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very many of those nights that I'm up past 9:20, 9:15 most nights.
Unless
sure.
she has a bad night.
Yeah. I'll just wait. Y'all just wait till she gets older and comes and rocks your world with these contests.
Yeah.
She's rocking mine every day at
she's
home.
Something else.
Yeah.
Well, Melzie, we appreciate you coming on and shooting the Que with us.
Yeah.
You know, we always want to learn more about these events like this, you know, and I know that SmokeSlam's got a lot of press, some good, some bad.
Yeah.
And we look at it as just another good barbecue contest.
It's a great opportunity.
Hey, we can't cook it. You can't cook them all.
Right.
I tried before,
Right,
you know,
right.
40 a year. But wish SmokeSlam the best of luck and hope it continues to grow. And who knows, maybe one of these days we can be a part of it.
Amen. Would love it. Would love it.
We'll see y'all next week on another episode of Shootin The Que.
Thank you for tuning in to the Shootin The Que podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels or through our website. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Leave us a review if you enjoyed the show. Until next time, keep shooting the Que.